You sit down at your desk, fully intending to read that book you've been putting off. But somehow, without making a conscious decision, your hand drifts over and you find yourself scrolling on a lit screen instead. This chart plots our daily behaviors, and it reveals something surprising about how we spend our time. According to a 2002 study by researcher Wendy Wood, a massive 43% of everything we do in a day happens entirely out of habit. Psychologists call that exact point of friction a capture error. It occurs when your conscious brain sets a specific goal, but a deeply ingrained routine hijacks the steering wheel and forces an entirely different action. These patterns are often the hardwired residue of previous mental experiences. Repeating a thought or action enough times imprints it into our neural pathways, making the behavior compulsory and eventually invisible to us. Because self-analysis requires immense conscious effort, the brain handles these routine tasks in the background to save bandwidth. These errors are actually the byproduct of an incredibly efficient biological engine doing exactly what it was designed to do: automate the familiar so we can focus on the unknown. Every habit starts as an intentional choice. You perform an action to achieve a specific result. Over time, to stop your brain from having to process that same decision over and over, it shifts the behavior into your procedural memory. This four-stage loop turns an action into a routine. It begins with a context cue, a trigger starting the engine. That generates a craving for a positive outcome. To satisfy it, your brain executes the physical routine and receives a reward that reinforces the entire loop. If you introduce intermittent or uncertain rewards into this cycle, like unpredictable social media notifications, the brain actually learns the pattern even faster. Once all four parts of this loop are locked into place, the initial conscious goal becomes completely irrelevant. The behavior now runs entirely on its own neurological momentum. Building this momentum requires a specific timeline. Research shows it takes an average of 66 days of incremental repetition to reach peak automaticity. Because these routines are deeply anchored to specific environmental triggers, sudden changes to your surroundings can instantly shatter your existing cues. Take a major life event like college graduation. Stepping off that campus permanently removes years of structured cues, from class schedules to dining hall hours, forcing the brain to scramble for new daily patterns. Moving into a new house creates the exact same effect. When your physical layout changes, your old habits lose their triggers, creating a rare window of extreme vulnerability where your behavior is highly malleable. Corporate marketers track purchase data specifically to detect when you are going through one of these transitions. They aggressively target you during these brief windows to install their products into your daily routine before your new habits set in. The power of these life transitions lies in the blank slate they provide. Whether it's a marketer targeting a new graduate or an individual redesigning their home, the person who shapes the environment holds the most leverage over the routines that take root. In 1890, philosopher and psychologist William James observed that living creatures are essentially bundles of habits. He described these routines as the enormous flywheel of society, keeping our lives moving forward with steady, unconscious momentum. This is exactly why fighting a fully formed neural pathway with sheer willpower is a losing battle. You are pitting a fleeting conscious intention against a deeply entrenched physical imprint in your brain. Instead of fighting head-on, psychologists recommend a process called withdrawing reinforcers. This means systematically dismantling the habit loop from the inside. To pull off this override, you have to break the machine down into its parts. You identify the specific context cue that triggers you, you intentionally alter the routine you perform, and you consciously substitute a new reward to satisfy the original craving. This deliberate intervention gets harder as we age. Every repetition reinforces a habit cumulatively over a lifespan, making those neural pathways much thicker and more resistant to erasure over time. But the mechanics are always there to be adjusted. A bad habit is a highly capable biological machine running a faulty script. By analyzing how that script is written, we gain the tools to rewrite the code, letting our own autopilot steer us exactly where we want to go.